The cafe was buzzing with laughter, but one laugh rose above all others, deep, proud, and echoing arrogance. A sharply dressed man in an expensive suit leaned back in his chair, swirling his coffee. "Serve me in English," he said loudly, mockingly, "and I'll pay you $1,000. Everyone turned to look. The waitress froze, a young woman in a faded apron, eyes filled with quiet strength. She blinked once, then smiled. "Would you like that?" she asked softly, in British English, American English, or perhaps, in 5 other languages too. The man's smirk faltered. The cafe went silent. No one knew that the girl he just mocked, once homeless, once forgotten, would soon change his life forever. The mocking millionaire and the quiet waitress. A drizzle swept through the streets of Manhattan, painting the glass walls of the Rosewood Cafe with silver streaks. Inside, servers hurried between tables, balancing trays, cups, and customer smiles. Among them was Lila, a 24-year-old waitress with eyes that held stories no one asked about. She worked double shifts, barely sleeping, always polite, always invisible. The kind of person rich people rarely noticed, unless they needed a refill. Then came Alexander Reed, the kind of man headlines called self-made genius and employees called a storm in a suit. A millionaire tech investor, known for his sharp tongue and sharper ego. He entered the cafe that morning like he owned the air inside. His watch glimmered, his voice cut through conversations, and his laughter, confident, careless, drew every gaze. When Lila approached his table with her notepad, he looked her up and down and chuckled. "Do you even speak English properly? Or do I have to draw pictures?" Lila's face didn't change. She'd met dozens like him before, people who confused money with worth. He raised an eyebrow. "Tell you what," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "if you can serve me in perfect English, I'll give you $1,000. But if you make a single mistake, you owe me a smile and a thank you, sir." The cafe went quiet. Phones were lifted discreetly. Everyone wanted to see what she'd do. Lila placed her tray down gently. Her voice was calm, clear, but her words carried weight. "Would you prefer I serve you in British English, American English, or perhaps Canadian English?" she asked. He blinked, unsure how to respond. She went on, switching her tone flawlessly. "How would you like your coffee, sir? American. Would you fancy some cream with that, perhaps? British. You want double-double or just regular, huh? Canadian." The crowd chuckled. Reed tried to keep his pride intact. "Okay," he smirked, "you got lucky." But then Lila continued, in French, Spanish, Italian, German, and Japanese, each one fluid, effortless, and musical. The cafe fell completely silent. Even the espresso machine seemed to stop hissing. When she finally returned to English, her eyes locked on his. A week later, Alexander returned to the cafe. But this time, he wasn't laughing. He waited patiently for Lila, who now eyed him warily. "Look," he began, "I owe you an apology. I was out of line." She shrugged. "You were being yourself. Happens." That stung more than he expected. He noticed the tired circles under her eyes, the worn shoes, the way she carried herself with quiet grace. She wasn't bitter, just used to being underestimated. So he asked, "Where did you learn all those languages?" Lila hesitated, then sighed. "My mother was a linguist. She taught me before she died. I wanted to study at Harvard, but after she passed, everything fell apart. I left school. Bills didn't care how many languages I spoke." For the first time, Alexander didn't see a waitress, he saw a story. A survivor. Days turned into weeks. Reed began visiting often, not as a customer, but as a listener. He watched how she handled rude customers with calm, how she taught herself coding during lunch breaks, how she never lost hope. One night, After closing hours, he found her sitting by the window,